this second day of the third and final test, which sees West Indies 33 for 2 at the close. They face 14 hostile overs before the close, and that 33 for 2 means they're still 61 runs behind. They lost their captain Brathwaite, bowled by the sixth ball of that innings for naught by Woakes, and then Kirk Mackenzie, who's had a rotten series, was caught behind by Smith off Atkinson for 8. A decent ball that though, 22 for 2. Louis and Allen Eyes have hung on there to take it up to 33 for 2. Yep, story of the day though, England were 54 for 5 at one stage, miles behind. That was when Brooke was out for 2, Pope having been bowled by Joseph for 10. Then a stand of 115 between Root and Stokes. Stokes made 54, he pulled a catch to mid-wicket. And then Root was out for 87. A bit surprising that he missed a pretty straight ball really from the spinner. Jamie Smith came in to bat when England was still 113 runs behind. He made 95. He and Woakes put on 106 together. Woakes making 62. A beautiful piece of bowling accounted for Smith too. A slow short ball from Shamar Joseph, and I think Smith's eyes lit up. Really hit a couple of sixes. He looked to repeat it but was completely deceived by this, and so he missed out on his first test century by 5 runs. Atkinson 21, and the most successful of the bowlers, not necessarily saying the best, but certainly the most expensive and the most highest wicket taker, is Howard Joseph, 4 for 122 from 17.4 overs. Jayden Seales ran in gamely again like he has done throughout, 3 for 79. Shamar Joseph 2 for 63 from 13 overs. So we've got Fazia here, we've got Phil Tufnell here as well, just to look back at the day. Well, we feared for that last hour, Fazia. They haven't only lost 2 wickets there.
And it could have been 3 because of the catch put down by Ben Stokes, and then a narrow escape with the referral with Mikhail Louis facing up to Mark Wood. But yeah, however you look at it, it's going to be very, very tough for the West Indies going into the third morning, because again, there's that feeling again that they're going to be steamrolled because they've been deflated, having been in such a good position half an hour into day 2 with England 54 for 5 in reply, and then eventually trailing by 94 runs. So that in itself would have taken the air out of their effort, and now to have to survive against a quality bowling attack, it's asking a lot of a very inexperienced team, and especially to see Craig Brathwaite, their most experienced, go in the first over.
Yeah. Tavas, what do you make of that last hour?
Oh, it's lively, wasn't it? I mean, they've just got all the sort of bases covered, haven't they, at the moment, England? They've got, I thought Woakes bowled beautifully, found some swing and seam. I thought Atkinson is just keeping him pressing with every performance. Gets that ball to dart around off a length, and occasional one swings as well. And then once one of those has a blow, you've got the raw pace of Mark Wood, who was absolutely flying in there. Yes. And then just threw the ball to Bashir, got it to spin a little bit to the right-hander as well. So it's looking good for England. West Indies are really, behind the 8 ball, but a really good final little session. They're there to get stuck in there, the West Indies. They did it pretty well, but England are looking a pretty tasty unit.
Must be hard when if you're the West Indies and you feel that everybody else feels that you're going to fall in a heap. But I suppose it should give you that determination that actually you're not going to fall in a heap. You're going to go out there and fight and show everybody.
And that's the opportunity for them. The disappointment would be that someone like a Kirk Mackenzie hasn't corrected that obvious flaw outside the off stump, because we've seen that from the first innings on the first morning at Lord's, and it repeats itself across 3 test matches. But yeah, from a West Indies point of view, and trying to look at it in a positive context, there's not so much just the tired old cliche about learning from it, but let's see what you can do on the third morning. Let's see that bit of fight. As Taffas mentioned, they could have easily capitulated, but you've seen Athanaze, you've seen Mikhail Louis, just show a bit of fight. They need to carry that on and not just be satisfied that they've avoided being dismissed on the second evening. Now they've got to show that there's a bit of fight left in them, a bit of character, a bit of determination.
Yeah, because there have been moments we know about Trent Bridge, 54 for 5. If you're looking for signs, positive signs, shoots, or whatever you want to call them, I mean they are there.
And indeed they are. And the problem for West Indies cricket is just seeing these players push on. We talked about Shamar Joseph as well from Brisbane, and many people were very excited. And clearly, he was short of a gallop coming into this.
He needs some cricket, He's a young lad. He needs dare I say, a couple of seasons of county cricket. He sort of needs toughening up.
But this is the challenge. This is the challenge for the West Indies. You know, can you not make a name for yourself? I mean, they're a long way behind the game. But can you just for yourself, you know, stand up to Mark Wood and say, right, come on, I'm gonna get stuck in here. Can you get through those tough periods? Can you get a partnership to go? Because as we've seen, when you do get a partnership going here, the pitch seems to flatten out a little bit, and you can go and get some runs. So that's what the West Indies have got to try and do. It's very, very difficult. I'm sure it is when you've got such an all-round, nice sort of well-balanced attack at the moment, England. I mean, I was surprised Bashir had a bowl, actually, but he bowled beautifully. I mean, he'll come into it more and more in the game. He got some dip, he got some bounce and spin. I might have given the captain a bowl, because it was swinging and seaming a bit. But, it's going to be a tough old day for West Indies tomorrow.
Yeah. So England's batting, 54 for 5.
Yeah.
What was going on here? I mean, it was.
Yes,
it was, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was all over the place. A little bit worrying as well. A lot of the wickets have fallen at this pitch. It's a bit of a featherbed sort of pitch, which is a lot of drag-ons. And if you go out there and you don't try and get yourself to 20 or 30 balls, you can be a little bit airy-fairy on this pitch. And that's what it's seen for both West Indies and England. But that knock from Smith, I mean, it's a bit of a Rolls-Royce kind of knock, wasn't it? You know what I mean? It was just smooth power. You know, he got himself in. He
looks a really good player. I mean, that's an obvious thing to say, but he really does.
Yeah, for, you know, a young fella, just start making his way in Test match cricket, got himself in, unlike sort of a Harry Brook had a big dart at one, and Zach Crawley dart at one early on, Ollie Pope early on, dragging one on, too early in their innings. But he just seemed to sort of like weigh up the situation beautifully and very, very quickly, and it was just smooth. I was listening to Vic there. It was just a cruise for him. He just cruised about. Beautiful.
I don't think bowling short to him is necessarily a good ploy.
I think that's his onion, as we used to
He hits
call
him
it.
for 6. I mean, he's hitting it up.
Yeah.
And over mid-wicket.
Yes.
He doesn't get dragged round to the sort of deep square leg, long leg area.
No, sees it early, picks up that length very, very quickly. I think that's his favourite side, isn't it, that onside? But he does, you know, he's a great extra cover driver as well. But anything short, anything remotely short, and he's in nick, he's popping it mid-wicket. And as you say, those two guys there on the hook were completely wasted.
Yeah. I mean, you can absolutely see why he was chosen, and it might well have chosen or created some ructions at Surrey. Who knows, with Ben Foakes, or at least some complications for poor old Alec to have to deal with there, and for the two individuals too to work out. Perhaps they're not bothered. I don't know, but you can see why Ben Stokes and Brendan McCullum and Rob Key all in this. They want to play this brand of cricket, which they have toned down, but they do want somebody who could be very positive at number 7. Bat with the bowlers, score runs, take an attack by the scruff of the neck. And this fella, as well as keeping wicket, he absolutely fits the bill.
And he did it beautifully today, didn't he? As you say, 54 for 5. England in trouble. England in trouble. But he didn't come out there and, just sort of like, as you say, second ball, whack, and try and get on with it. He actually sort of, he looks like he reads the situation and has got a very, very good cricket brain on his shoulders for someone so young.
I did enjoy, though, I have to say, Fazia, the ball of the day for me.
Oh, you're still purring
it was
about
fantastic.
it.
I love that sort of deception. That slower ball from
You should have been a spinner, John.
No. It was quicker than that, but it was just the bravery of doing it. Is on 95. He's been smashed into the stands by him, and he dared bowl it, because if he got it wrong, it would have probably gone into the stand for 6 anyway. People thought, what is that powder puff thing? He got the length absolutely right. He got the line absolutely right. It's just one of those moments where you plan something and it works. And I don't think he has had a very good series. I think he's got to go back and, as I said to you earlier, he's got to go back and toughen himself up a bit. But there's some talent there. When you see a ball like that, and in that situation, there's something there, isn't there?
And thinking as well.
Yeah.
Clearly, there's a lot going on between the ears, other than just trying to show off and be impressive for the audience. Because he got me as well. Because I was thinking on commentary that maybe it was a stock delivery that just kept a bit low.
That's what I wondered.
Then you saw it again, and you recognized the thinking.
Proper skill.
And again, as you said correctly, you're probably thinking, how do I get out of this without being smashed rushed for 6 for this guy to get a maiden 100, serves up the equivalent of an off break when surely no one else would have been anywhere close to that level of thinking, and he gets to the wicket. So
It was very brave.
credit to him.
Yeah, very brave, very skillful.
very creative.
There was a lovely shot. If you haven't seen it yet on the highlights, you kind of the England dressing room at the moment they got out. Well, Stokes sort of throws his head back, dramatically. Behind him, look for Ollie Pope.
Yeah.
Who covers his face with a cushion.
It does. I've done that a few times.
It's his Surrey teammate, isn't it? He's obviously willing him on, but he just hides his face in
I know.
this cushion.
I know. We did that to Michael Atherton on 99 when he got run out by Gat, and you just think, oh, crikey. But you could just see that the whole dressing room was willing him to get there, and he deserved it. He played beautifully, great in it.
Yeah. Interesting how Root missed that ball. He's such a good player with spin, and it makes you wonder again. We talked about Moti at Lords, didn't we? He's got some good variation.
Yeah.
And that must have just fizzed on a little bit more than Root was expecting.
Well, he's got a good quick arm. He's got a nice quick arm, good little variation. He's got a bad ball in him, to be fair. He can bowl it a little bit short once in a while. But he's done Root a couple of times with that sort of quick arm, and I think it might have been a little underspin or just not turned, been a natural variation, and it just rushed him. And we've seen now Rooty walk off twice against Moti, sort of going, how did I miss it?
It happened, yeah.
Because as you say, he's such a good player of spin.
Yep.
And you can tell that perhaps it's just rushed him because the bat, instead of in that beautiful straight position where he sort of pushed it back to the bowler or to mid-off, it was just a bit angled, and that's sort of what happens when you're a bit rushed and you're taken by surprise. But he's done him a couple of times.
Jaden Seals, he took 3 for 79, and he's been speaking to Simon Mann.
Well, Jaden, ultimately a tough day. How do you sum it up?
I thought we bowled well, way better than we did throughout the entire series. We stuck at it, we stuck to our plans, and the bowlers, they really fought. It was a hard fought day, and we got the rewards. Probably went for a little bit more runs than we wanted to, but we got the rewards and we got the job done in the end.
What were you thinking at 54 for 5?
Game on, just 2 good wickets again, and we were back. We were right into the game, right into the contest. I wouldn't say that we let it slip, but it was good batting from Root and Stokes. They bat well, and you could see the experience. They took the game away from us to a point where they got themselves into a good partnership, and then Brooke Jamie Smith to follow batted well as well. So kudos to them.
From a personal point of view, what's it been like bowling at this England batting lineup?
It's been tough because they've been challenged from the start of the batting order right down to the end, because they all come out, they play free, they play their shots, so you have to be on it from ball one. And as you can see from the last test, if you're not on it from ball one, for me especially, it was tough going to get back into the game. So it's always a challenge and it's always a learning experience, and obviously getting to play in these conditions and play against a world-class team as England, as they are right now, is always a good experience for a young team moving forward.
Personal milestone for you, 50th wicket in your 13th test match. How do you feel your career's going?
I think it's been pretty good. I've done pretty well for West Indies, I'd like to say. The job's not done. I definitely want a lot more wickets for West Indies in Test cricket, and just thankful that I've gotten to that milestone and looking to move forward from there now.
How much did it help you that you played some county cricket before the series?
It helped me a lot in terms of understanding my game and understanding the conditions here in England, when the ball would start to swing, when to hold and bowl a lot straighter. So it did give me a chance to feel out the experiences that we were coming across the plane, and allow my body to go through the different types of weather. The cold sometimes is very hot, so it allowed me to kind of ready myself for the series.
Just back to the game, behind on first innings. How big do you see the challenge ahead from here?
I think it's still a very good pitch, so I'm backing the batsmen 100% to go out there and do what they have to do, score the runs, put away the bad balls. I mean, it's still a very good pitch, as I said, so runs would come once we wait and bide our time. Yes, it's a very good bowling attack, but I think the batsmen that we have, they've shown it throughout the series in patches that they can bat and they can stand up and put their hands up for the team. So it's just a matter of them doing it again tomorrow and set us up for a big win, hopefully.
How many do you think you could defend?
Well, I think the pitch will start to play a bit lower, so it just depends. If we could get to at least 300, 350 and bowl well, we could defend that score on this pitch.
Thanks very much for your time, Jaden. Thanks very much. Cheers. Thank you.
There we go. Jayden Seales, thinking positively, as you have to do, 3 for 79. He's had a good series, actually, hasn't he, Fez?
Yes, he has, and it's been a tough challenge for him still because again you're playing a caliber of batter and a long batting lineup. You've got to be consistent, and he's had his periods when he struggled to get rhythm, but you can see the quality. He's getting the reward for it, but like everyone else, he knows that the West Indies need to put in a lot more work to really be able to compete at a consistently high level.
Jamie Smith, then, he's been talking to Simon Mann.
Well, Jamie, is it congratulations for your highest test score or commiserations for missing out on 100?
It's not commiserations at all. Slightly gutted, obviously, when you miss out on a milestone, but I feel like the way I played there, I'm very pleased with it. Obviously, had some good partnerships there between myself and Joe, and then myself and Wokesy there that have brought us from 50 for 5, to a very positive day in the end.
Yeah, it's a remarkable turnaround, wasn't it?
Yeah, they toiled hard in the morning. Obviously picked up their couple of wickets last night and then started really well today. So we're a little bit on the back foot, but we know it's a good surface here and we've got some good players to come, so we're always positive that we could turn it around.
You've batted so far with a bit of freedom because of the position of the game. Today you came in under pressure. What was going through your mind when you came in at 160 for 6, still well behind?
Still be positive. There's going to be opportunities out there to go and score, and I think that was the thing for me, is to go in and impose myself on the opposition and look to take it on. That's the way I like to go and play my cricket, so I thought that's the best way to go about it, instead of trying to stay there all day and probably get a good ball with my name on it. So it's to put them under pressure, and thankfully it worked today.
What about the shot onto the roof of the Hollis stand?
Yeah, I connected quite decently with that one. It helped with
quite good.
It helped with a short boundary and with the wind as well. But yeah, I was pretty pleased with that one.
Is it one of those shots you sort of think about later and think, oh yeah, what a stroke that was?
Yeah, 100%. It's one I'll have with fond memories looking back on this game, definitely.
Now, you're on 95. What were you thinking now? Were you thinking possibly go to 100 with a 6?
Yeah, absolutely. I was thinking just to take it on as much as I can and try and hit it for 6, but to be fair to Shamar Joseph, they completely done me with a slower ball, and yeah, that's just one of them things.
Did you think slower ball possibility, or was it just a complete surprise?
I thought it could be a possibility. To be honest, I was just thinking to get my leg across and try and swing it to the short side. But yeah, as I said, he's done me there, and fair play for that. And yeah, I can't be too disappointed with 95.
How much are you enjoying it? I mean, not just batting, but also the keeping as well.
Yeah, I think it's everything that comes with it. It's a great environment to be in. It's a very relaxed change room at all times. Even when we're 50 for 5 there, it was very relaxed. You can go out and be authentic to yourself and how you want to play. I think that's really important. To exude confidence throughout every single player. It's just a great environment to be part of.
Do you think you've got the game now?
Well, you never know, but them couple of wickets there, obviously help. You got to come back now, refresh with the bowlers who have, had some tough overs in the last few games. So to come back, we're going to be looking to, try and take as many wickets as we can while we're still in a deficit and see where we get to.
Well played today. Congratulations rather than commiserations.
Thank you.
Thanks very much for your time.
Thank you.
Yeah, quite right. And for being honest too, and giving credit to the opposition. It's nice to hear that.
Speaks rather well, doesn't he? And that's exactly the way he plays his cricket, with the bat and with the gloves as well. He just seems quite unflappable, doesn't he?
Very straightforward sort of thing.
Very straightforward. He's got a straightforward technique, gives it a whack leg side, and anything up there he'll nail through extra cover. And also the way he's got about the one. I mean, I don't want to sort of take anything away. What will be the test is his, drops a couple of catches and things start getting into the brain a little bit. But I mean, what a fantastic 3 test matches he's got off to. He's kept immaculately and smashed it with the bat, but very sort of composed player, James Smith.
Yeah. So last thoughts in Fazia. Is tomorrow the last day of the series, do you think, or can you see West Indies getting through this?
The head says yes, that England are just going to steamroll the West Indies and wrap it up probably with the same length of time as we saw with the Lord's Test match. The heart says you want to see some fight. You want to see that bit of character, even if England eventually prevail. That leaves you with the feeling that these players, the majority of them, that the West Indies can build something meaningful. But there's no question, England are way on top here.
Quick blast of stats from Andy Zoltzman.
Some interesting things today statistically, and as often is the case with dramatic cricket. England lost 5 for 25 from 29 for naught last night, which is their worst collapse for the first 5 wickets in more than 5 years. Their worst at home against West Indies since 1963, and it could have been worse if Joe Root had been given out LBW on 3 if West Indies had referred it. Root went on to pass Brian Lara into 7th place on the all-time list and become the 7th player to reach 12,000 Test runs. That was followed by 50 plus stands for the 6th, 7th and 8th wickets. Only the 5th time in England's Test history they've done that. Half centuries from number 7, 8 and 9. Only the 8th time in Test history that a team has had 50 plus from 7, 8 and 9 in the same innings. And in the second time England have done it, and they added 322 runs after the fall of their 5th wicket. Not so good for West Indies. Alzari Joseph, 4 for 122 off 17.4 at 6.9 and over, the second most expensive innings by a seamer in Test cricket of 15 or more overs. And in the series, he's going at just over 6 and over, only the second time in Test history so far that any bowler has bowled 50 overs or more in a series and gone up more than a run a ball. The other was Zahid Mahmood for Pakistan in against England on the first Bazball tour in the 2022-23 winter, and Kirk Mackenzie ending with 33 runs from 6 innings, an average of 5.5, the lowest average any West Indian top 3 player has ever returned in a series in which he's batted 5 or more times.